Hi, this is Andrew Baronski, and in this video for OTF Connects, I'll be taking you through the basics of using Google Docs. So here I'm starting off in my Google Drive account. You can see that I'm signed already and have access to various files and folders here. But we're going to be focusing on how to use the basics of a Google Doc. So first thing you want to do is be able to create a new doc. Over to the left here, you can see this red button that says New. I'm going to click on that. And I'll get a variety of options here, and the one I'm going to go down to is go down and click on Google Docs, and this is going to create a new Google Doc for me. So by clicking that, it's going to open up a new tab in my web browser. Again, using Google Doc is completely web-based, so you're working on the web, you're working online. It's not a specific file that's tied to your hard drive of your computer. All right, first thing I want to do is name my document. So up in the top left-hand corner, I can see it says Untitled Document here. I'm going to click into it, and I'm just going to put OTF Connects in here. Okay, right from there, so I've got my title in. This file has been named now. That's the way you name the file within Docs. And at first glance, it's going to look very similar to any other Word editor you used. If you're familiar with Microsoft Word or Pages on a Mac, it has a lot of the same functionality. The basics here across the top, I can see options to print. I can do undo or move forward. The sizing of my document, so I can click on this 100% here and change the sizing for my doc. If you're using this with a data projector in your classroom, I highly recommend clicking on this and going fit. It'll make it larger and fit it right to the screen you're on. You can play around with the text, your fonts right here. You have a variety of options there for font. Your font size you can play around with. The default in Docs is Arial and 11, but you can also play around with that as well. And again, very basic functionality, bold, italics, underline. You can change your text color here. You can also do highlighting here. So if I want to change the text color, I can click on text and play around with the colors here as well. Or if I click on highlight, same thing. I can press some highlighting here. If I want to remove some highlighting on my document, I can click none after it's been highlighted and remove it that way. You also have various choices for alignment. So I've got my left align, center, right align. One spot that some people have trouble finding in Google Docs is line spacing. It's right beside alignment here, so I can see line spacing here with that little arrows moving up or down. If I click on line spacing, I can see it kind of defaults to 1.15 here, but I can play around with that single, 1.5 double, and play around with some other settings here as well through that. You also have the options to do numbered lists or bolded lists and a variety of other things. But that's really the basics of the toolbar in Google Docs, and like I said, in many ways it's exactly the same as using something like Microsoft Word or a variety of other Word editors you may have used in the past. With that being said, though, and being web-based here, you have a variety of options and functionality that you would not have in your traditional word processor. For example, because it's web-based here, you're going to use a lot with links and need to have them active. So I want to hyperlink something here. I can click on the links button across here to highlight something and link it to a website somewhere else. And then working through the top here as well, across the upper part of my toolbar, I have a variety of other options. So for example, if I click on Insert, I can insert an image to this doc off my computer. I can search the web for one. Again, here's another spot to add a link. If I'm working in math or science, there's a variety of equations I can access and insert those into my documents here. You can also use Google Drawing. Draw is a kind of a separate app, but if you click on Draw, there's different shapes and various things you can do in a little separate application that you can edit. You can add those into your doc as well. As I kind of slide through, I can see my footnoting here. I can add special characters in my document. There's a variety of options here for that. Lines, your page number, page count, breaks, header, footer. You can insert a table of contents right from here as well. So that's all under the insert function from the document. Secondly, you can also look at the formatting here. So you have some of the basics you have from your toolbar, but some other options as well. For example, if you're looking to do a strike through, you can do that, or again, a superscript or a subscript, you have these options. And there's some other things here with paragraphing styles and alignment and kind of that, things like that as well. And some other things you can do with images if you've inserted them into your document. So that's the very basics there for formatting. You also have this options for tools. And I would say under tools, this is kind of one of my favorite spots. This is where I really notice a difference between being in Google Docs and web-based as opposed to using a more traditional Word editor. So at the very base here is spelling, but one of my all-time favorite tools in Google Docs was called the research tool. So I'm going to actually select this right now. So if I click on research, I get this box that pops off to the side. And what it does is it actually opens up a Google search right within my document. So the default here is everything. You can see this from the drop down. If I can click on the little drop down here beside the G, I can filter my results. So you got everything. Images, I can search images online. Scholar would be more scholarly articles, quotes, you can do a dictionary from here, look at different tables, and a variety of other options here as well. So if I'm just searching everything here, for example, if I put in OTF Connects, and just like as if it was Google, I get a very quick snapshot here of the web. So I can have that finding access to OTF Connects right here and various other things. If I go back to filter though and select images, it actually does a web-based search for OTF Connects. So these are things that Google has found off the web here. I can kind of highlight here, and as I hover over something, it makes it large, and I can see what's been tagged off online for OTF. If I find an image I like here, I actually have the option, if I click on it, and I can actually drag across into my document here and release, it's actually going to bring the document across. So once this image has been inserted into my doc, I can go and play around some resizing here, make this a little larger. And you also notice this little number 1 off to the side. With me doing anything else, just by dragging this image in off the web, if I scroll down to the bottom here, I actually see it's kind of pasted that link into my document for me to go back and do some referencing and get some credit to where it's come from before. I love this feature. It's a great way to find things offline to add into your notes and resources for students. It's great for students to add things into their documents as well. It's a really nice feature, and again, you have access to the web from that. If I don't want it though, again, you can play wrap text, break text, but I'm just going to click on it and click delete here to get rid of it. Get rid of my little number there too. And when I'm done with my research tool, I just click the X here on the research box and it goes away. And I'm back to this spot as well, into my document. I'm going to jump back into tools again though. Another thing that's relatively new in Google Docs is you can see here is voice typing. This is speech to text built right in the document. As long as you're using a device that has a microphone, you've got it turned on for this, you can do voice typing right with your doc. So this is a great way to leave comments to students or kind of save yourself some time. I've got some colleagues who this is the way they do most of their feedback. They'll open up a comment box, which we'll get to here in a sec, in Google Docs, and just do voice typing. And this is how they give feedback to students. If you're not a very fast typer, this is a great option for you because you can kind of speak it. So let's give you a quick demo here. So I'm going to click on voice typing. I'm going to see this mic off to the side and it says click to speak. And I won't type this here, I promise. So if I click this here, and I'll say, I love Google Docs. And you can see it's following me right on as I keep talking. You can see how well it does. So again, volunteering was a little off there, and you might see some of that off times. You can come back here, you can edit and change that to whatever you want. And play around with it here, but that's the kind of speech to text, and you can just actually talk through a document, give feedback, or work and do your typing that way as well. To get rid of the microphone, you just click the X here and get rid of it. And I'm going to delete this out here again as well. Okay. If I just want that basis again, I love Google Docs. You can see me actually typing it, how much longer that took me. You can do that speaking as well. You can also add in punctuation by speaking. So for example, if I had said exclamation mark, it would insert an exclamation mark instead of writing out exclamation mark for me there as well. Next one to look at here is add-ons across the top. So if I click on add-ons, now you can see I've added a few in already. These were things I added onto this doc. So basically what add-ons are separate parties who have created things to work within the Google Docs environment. So for example, if I click on Get Add-ons, I'm going to have this box pop open for me here, and I can see a variety of things I've highlighted. The green check mark means I've added it, but you can see there are a whole bunch of things that are great for the classroom here, and different things that people have built out to use them. For example, EasyBib is a bibliography creator that works right in your document. I'm a big fan of Kaizen myself. Kaizen is another speech-to-text tool, and you can highlight things and add things to documents, so that's one I've added myself there too. This is a great place to come in to play around with, see what things you can find, and really interesting things you can add to your doc and functionality for you and your students. So that was the basics there of add-ons. Also, one of the tools I really love about this is just the simple help button. Anytime you want to know how to do something, you can just click on help, click into the search box here, type something in, and it should be able to point you in the direction for how to do it. So for example, if I wanted to know how to do a subscript, as I was typing in, it pops in right away, and I can see here this is what I'm looking for. I could click on it and find more information. It also gives me the shortcut, keyboard shortcut for it right here to do it. So if I click on subscript, I can jump in there and play around with that as well. You can see it's just at my doc here, the browser's jumped down, so I can write in a subscript right here. And there I've got 4 just by clicking on it. So if you're not sure where to find something, coming back into this help feature here is great. The last thing I want to talk about with this is saving, and this is very hard for people in Google Docs the first few times they use it. If you notice, I go back here and click on File, and I'm looking for Save As. I'm not going to find it. It's not here. So I'm looking for it, nothing there. So if I finish my work and I want to save it, I don't have that option. I can't find it here under File, and you're not going to find a Save button anywhere within Google Docs. And the really interesting thing with it being web-based is Google saves for you automatically as you're working through the document. So if you look up at the top of my document here, and you can see I'm hovering over it, it says all changes saved in Drive, and it gives me this little text box. Every change you make is automatically saved in Drive. My last edit was seconds ago. Now if you keep your eyes up here on where it says all changes saved in Drive, if I just kind of click ahead and start Typing in some gibberish here, you can see it says saving. If I release the keyboard, literally a second later, it says all changes saved in Drive. So as long as you have your web-based connection here and you're connected to the internet, your document is always being saved for you as you're working through it. All right, the final piece I want to discuss in this is the commenting feature. So up in the top right-hand corner here, you'll see a comments box. You can see this is a thread of people who've left comments for you. If you've done any sharing with your documents, we'll talk to in a sec. You can also leave comments for yourself as well. And there's a few ways to get there. The way I personally like to go, if I highlight my document here, so say I want to leave a comment related to Google Docs, I would personally right-click on this highlighted piece, and I can see the comment box down here and click on that. The other option you have is up in the toolbar here. You see this little box with lines through it, and it says Add Comments, another place to go here too. So I'm going to come back down to my right-click though, and I'm going to click on Comment, and I will see this dialog box pop to the side. It's got my name attached to it because I'm signing the document here, so I know who's commenting. It's me commenting on here, and I can leave something to that. So I'm going to say, such a great tool with an exclamation mark and click comment, and then now that comment's been tied to it. If I click away and off the document here, I'll just stay off to the side, so it's here. And the nice thing is if you have a long list of comments here, if you come and click on what's highlighted, the box kind of jumps out for you. You can see that there. If it's something that you want to deal with at a later time, you come back and take care of, you can click the resolve button to get rid of it. You also have these three little dots off to the right here, so if I click on this, I can either edit my comment or I can delete it away too. And if you have multiple people on a document, they can come in and respond to it as well. You can reply to yourself. All right, those are the very basics for playing around with Google Docs. Thanks for listening.